So to me, it's two different ways you can look at starting a trucking company. And you could look at it from an aspect of you being one person in a truck, or you could do it from an aspect of being a fleet owner. From the beginning, I already knew that I wanted to be a fleet owner. What's up, y'all? Just want to do Truck Talk Tuesday, get something started so we can kind of, get some of these questions answered. A lot of people been inboxing, be asking me particular questions about trucking. I do trucking from my name is Coby Pegway. I do trucking I do it from a box truck standpoint and a 18-wheeler standpoint. And I just kind of want to talk about the different ways to structure the company, because it's a lot of people looking at it from having one truck and trying to get like the best loads for that one truck, but not everybody is doing it from a one truck standpoint. I'm gonna let a couple people come in because I'm live on Instagram and Facebook right now. So I'm just give it a second to let a couple people come in. But yeah, this is just Truck Talk. We want to talk about. I'm gonna be talking to y'all about like different ways to structure your company coming in for people that's in the industry already and people that's actually coming into the industry. So y'all can drop questions or whatever because this is a Q&A, but I just kind of want to talk about it from a different perspective. Okay, so I see a couple people climbing on in, so I'm gonna get started. So to me, it's two different ways you can look at starting a trucking company. And you could look at it from an aspect of you being one person in a truck, or you could do it from an aspect of being a fleet owner. From the beginning, I already knew that I wanted to be a fleet owner. So the way I set up my company was based off of that. So you got the one-man band where you could do one, you can have one truck where you just go on a load board, or you get a dedicated load, which it's gonna be kind of hard to get dedicated if you only got one truck. Most of the time when you dealing with somebody that's dedicated or dealing with a company that's dedicated, you're gonna have to have at least 5 trucks. I'm not saying it's impossible to find some work dedicated with only 1 or 2 trucks, but it's gonna be very hard to do that. I've been dedicated with Amazon for the last 18 months, and I had to start off with like 10 trucks. I had to get 10 box truck routes from them. The typical box truck work with the lift gates and everything like that. So you got to be a little more fleet owner. Okay, so somebody asked me what's a fleet owner. A fleet owner is just somebody who owns a fleet of trucks. Like me, I'm a fleet owner. I started off as an owner-operator in one truck. Then I bought another truck, and I just kept on expanding my business. But I have dedicated freight with Amazon right now. And I suggest everybody to look at it from a fleet owner standpoint. Don't get caught up in how much that one truck make. Now, granted, if you only got that one truck, then you got to be hell-bent on how much that one truck is going to make. But don't get caught up in chasing loads, I'm trying to get this $1,500 load off the load board. Nah, I ain't chasing no loads. I'm looking for dedicated work so I can have my one box truck, doing this. Well, my fleet of box trucks doing, or either my fleet of semis doing this set work, so I ain't got to continue to keep looking for work off the load board. You could chase down that and make more money on one truck, but as a fleet, that doesn't work. So from a fleet owner perspective, I run about 13 to 15 trucks with Amazon a night. So I might not make, but I might only make $200 or $300 off each truck. Somebody else might get a killing, and every now and then they might go get a load where they making, maybe maybe $400 or $500 off that one truck. But that person is gonna be chasing loads every day. You get what I'm saying? Amazon sends me the loads that I get, so I never have to look for work. So while I'm out, you know, running my other businesses, because I'm a serial entrepreneur, while I'm out running my other businesses, with my dedicated work, I might make less money per truck. But would you rather, you got to ask yourself, would you rather be in the business and doing this, you know, just hustle and bustle, trying to find a dispatcher, trying to dispatch this truck, you know, trying to go crazy, trying to get it figured out. You get what I'm saying? Versus me, I'm more like a smooth operation. So you got to ask yourself, do you want to do expedited? Do you want to be chasing trucks? Because I tried expedited, I had 10 trucks over the road. That's way too much work. You get what I'm saying? Granted, each truck could probably make, you know, a little bit more. I mean, they could probably get you a couple bands each, but that's 16 hours a day until you find you a good enough crew. Versus I'd rather take, like people call Amazon the cheap loads. Hey, look, if I'm clearing $1,500 to $2,000 a day on my fleet, you know, and running, you know, 12 to 15 trucks, I don't care, because I got enough money in that day to pay my operations manager. I look at everything from an operational standpoint, not from a truck by truck standpoint. So you don't have to break down like, oh, I'm making $2,000 off each truck. I don't care if I made $2,000 a day, as long as I got my free time. I don't really care, you know what I'm saying, about that, you know. So you got to choose and not listen to what everybody's saying. I'm not suggesting y'all to do anything. I'm just saying choose whether you want to be scrambling. You can make more money scrambling, or do you want to make a more peaceful dollar, you know what I'm saying, and focus on taking a little less on some dedicated work. Me, I'm going for the less on dedicated work because I don't have to worry about where my work coming from. I haven't had to look for work in like I said, 18 months since I've been dedicated. I haven't had to look for work. So me, I'm not in the business of trying to be that person that's going to go look for some work, you know, if you follow my drift. So I'm going to open the floor for some questions. I just kind of want to make sure that y'all know that it's multiple structures. You don't have to be in a truck over the road doing all of that. You can piece together some nighttime work with Amazon and some daytime work with FedEx and make it work that way too as well. You know, I'm a fan of dedicated work because I like my operation to run smooth. Let me see if I got some of these questions coming in. So Vanessa asks, do you have permanent routes or everyday different routes? No, I have, they're not permanent routes with Amazon. I'm guaranteed to work, but I'm not guaranteed that it's going to be the same route. But I don't even care if it's the same route, you know, to be honest. I just, as long as my drivers have work and they not wanting to quit because I'm not keeping them busy, you know, it really don't matter to me whether is that. As long as I know, all right, next week I know I'm at least have, 13 to 15 routes. I'm gonna put some of these on Amazon, and that's the majority of what I do. Every now and then I grab something off the board, but like I said, if I'm clearing $30,000 on a bad month profit, I'm straight. And if I'm doing, as long as I'm doing them last 4 months, I'm doing 100,000 profit, I'm cool. I don't have to continue to keep looking for work. So that's why I stick with Amazon, because that's what works for me. You know, let me see if I got some more questions coming in here. Vegan Bossa said, from IG said, how do you start out? I started out on the load board, just like everybody else, just getting on the load board and trying to find some loads. One day in October, about 2019, they hit me up and they had an email, and they was like, does anybody have 10 trucks? At the time, they asked about 10 trucks. I only had one truck. I had just, my international had just broke down on the highway. My engine had just blown. They said 16,000. I said, the hell with it. I'm not getting it fixed. So they asked if I had 10 trucks. I didn't have 10 trucks at the time. I only had one, but I had enough money to go rent the trucks. So I didn't know if it was real, because I'm like, they just really gonna email me, you know, and ask me if I got 9, you know, like who got 9 trucks, because they need some people, you know, some carriers in Atlanta. So long story short, it ended up being real. And I end up going back to I ended up going to the place. They ended up walking me around. So when I found out it was real, I went and rented 9 trucks. And I went on Indeed and in Craigslist and posted an ad, and they end up I end up hiring like 15 drivers. And I've been dedicated with Amazon ever since then. I started off with the box trucks, then they started to give me more lanes where they started to give me semi lanes. And now I'm running 18 wheelers and box truck. And granted, it's not the best paying stuff, but it's consistent and it's money I can count on consistently. So, so I'm cool with it. Some people like, oh, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I did 3.5 million last year with just Amazon alone. So for me, what I'm saying, I'm cool. It don't work for everybody, but for me, that works. You get what I'm saying? And I just learned how to work their system. And I think a lot of people get upset because they can't figure out how to make it work. All right, so scroll up. So best load boards for 26-foot non-CDL. Best load boards that I use is Selectus. You can use Selectus. DAT has some stuff. A combination in between the both of them will keep your truck rolling most of the time. My virtual fleet is a good load board, but it's typically only my virtual fleet is typically only the spillover loads from Selectus. So if you pretty much got Selectus, you don't need my virtual fleet. Now my virtual fleet does have a very good dispatching service for anybody who want to dispatch their trucks. Like you could put your truck in there, your driver, it got GPS. It's a real good thing for you to use. But yeah, Perk Turk, I would suggest Selectus, and it is kind of expensive, but it'll be worth it though. I'm trying to see if there's more questions in here. I got to keep scrolling. Now, I started off with Floyd. He didn't say I started off with 1. The insurance killing me for startup costs. Is there a way around it? Like if I rent from Penske, do I have to get insurance on top of insurance that they offer? That's a good question. So the insurance that you get from Penske, is not going to allow you to get your authority active. So you're going to have to pay the double insurance. So what it is if you get the 1 truck first, then you run that on your insurance. Now, that's a loophole. You're supposed to be running the trucks on your policy. But the loophole is that once you got that 1 truck on there, you can go ahead and use like me. Like I ran trucks under rider insurance and just slap my tags on the side of it. So I would rather rider go ahead and take the hit for that, if the driver do that. But again, my stuff dedicated, so I'm not going for it. Like a lot of my drivers don't even leave Georgia, so it works. Or even they cross into Alabama, it still ain't really that far. So I only suggest that if your truck's not going. Now, if you're going over the road, you're taking a chance. It will work, but you're taking a chance. Well, really, you ain't taking a chance. Ryder or Penske gonna pay out. Really, it's not a chance because Ryder or Penske gonna end up paying out. So I wouldn't suggest you to do that with that first truck, but definitely on the second truck. Keep in mind, when you get in the game, not too many people make enough money off of that first truck to justify, they pockets are making them feel good, because you got to look at it from an aspect that you still got bills to pay. So automatically, when you come in the game, once you figure out a little way to get some work, go rent a second truck and have that second truck be your profit, and you be taking care of your house bills. It's going to release some stress. You're not going to really feel any real money until somebody else is running for you. And I mean, I made some good money just running the truck by myself, but I'm into being a CEO. I want to teach the people who follow me or who enter what I'm talking about to be CEOs. Think of it from a CEO mind state. Don't look at it like being like a worker bee, like I'm going to go take all of these routes because you're trying to get all of the money. The only way I end up being able to pull off 3.5 million last year is because I end up hiring dock managers, operations managers. I didn't try to do it all on my own. I had to realize that, okay, if I pay somebody else $1,000 a week, how much is me paying them $1,000 a week going to make me? If they're going to free me up 40 hours for me to do something else, then that would make sense for me to pay them $1,000 a week, because now I'm sitting over here finding more work and I'm end up creating a better system. But let me, I'm long-winded. I ramble on. I'm just trying to make sure I'm answering some questions for y'all. I talked to you about Airbnbs on a different live. This live right here is strictly for trucking, strictly for trucking questions. Here go a question from I want to say Altino Scott. I'm from Boston. I have a CDL Class A and am looking to buy my first truck next month to work with Amazon. Okay, that's good. That's good. I like, hey, with one truck, I don't know how good it'll be. It used to be hard finding them lows. It wasn't really, like I said, how I really wanted it to be until I became dedicated. Let's see. Okay, so there's no more questions up there. Give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to scroll through these. I'm trying to look on IG. All right, nothing on IG. Mark Anthony said, "Did I start with box truck?" Yes, I started with box trucks. I don't currently hold a CDL. I just got a regular. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I got a regular license right now, and I started with one international. I wouldn't suggest nobody to buy internationals, and I went out and bought another one, and they both were serious problem trucks for me. And yep, I started off driving, running day and night. What I did to offset my costs, because Amazon freight wasn't, I've been running Amazon for the 4 years since I've been in the business. But what I did is I used to rent my truck out during the daytime to moving companies. And that's how I end up making money and surviving during like slow season. So there's just a little gem for y'all right there. Team up with labor only moving companies, and y'all can make some money that way too. Who else in here? As you grew and scaled, Kenneth Sanchez say, as you grew and scaled your business from one truck to fleet, what was your strategy on obtaining more trucks to add? Strategies to add to the fleet. Was it a set amount you made as you expanded your fleet, or did you just go straight into grabbing multiple all at once? Thanks for the help in advance. Good question. So the mistake that I made in the beginning was trying to grow too fast. So I started in January 2017 immediately, and by March I had already called my cousin like, hey, I need you to drive for me, right? So I didn't go buy another truck, but I rented a truck from Budget. And at that time, Budget had a really good deal where they had like $400, it was $400 weekly unlimited miles. So it was easy. So I didn't really lose by expanding, but I really didn't make no money because I didn't really know what the operational cost was. Like I didn't really know my numbers. I'm looking at like, ooh, this Amazon, this broker giving me this Amazon thing for 1,700 for hold on, I'm tripping. I'm talking about this email. They end up giving me this thing for $70,000. So $70,000 sounds like a lot of money when you ain't looking at the real numbers and the way that they break down. Come to find out, I fast forward to you, Mr. Sanchez, I grew that and did that for that first year. I didn't know nothing about a profit and loss. I didn't do nothing but quit my job at the post office and jump straight into trucking. I ain't have no experience, no mentor, no nothing. So I'm going to tell you, I lost $40,000 in my first year. It looked like I was making that. Let's see now, I brought in $175,000, but I lost, like when I did my P&L, it wasn't no good year for me. You get what I'm saying? Because I was taking loads without really understanding what the real cost was. So I suggest everybody to use a formula, you know what I'm saying? And look at real numbers. Put that gas in there. Break that insurance up into 30 days and what it costs you every day to run that truck. If you pay for parking, break that parking up into 30 days. Break everything up into whatever route you take. Okay, if it's going to take 2 days, what is 2 days of insurance? What is 2 days of fuel? What is 2 days of paying that driver? And look at the real numbers. I'm telling you, my first 100,000 profit, I had to pay 80,000 to my credit cards because I was that much in a hole from not knowing. But keep in mind, I wasn't in no Facebook group 4 years ago. I didn't have nobody to go and ask no questions to. I was literally just, and the guys that put me in the game, they ain't really know the game no better than me. They was just maintaining and taking work and just doing a bunch of little random stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they ain't really know the game no more than me. But to get back to what Mr. Sanchez was saying, I started to expand once I had to work. Like, I don't know if y'all seen my YouTube videos. Look me up, Coby Pegway on YouTube. I'm going to start dropping more videos, but I got an I3 formula that I suggest anybody that's new in the game to use the I3 formula, because it don't make sense how many people is jumping in the game, how many people is getting these trucks, but they ain't even got no work for them though. So the formula is you want to go work first, then the driver, then the truck. You get what I'm saying? Don't go out and buy a truck if you ain't got no work for it or no driver, because the type of work that you get is going to determine whether, I'm talking about if you get an 18-wheeler, say if you got a plug on some 18-wheeler work, well, I mean, you're going to need a different type of driver than you're going to need for a box truck. So that's why the work always got to come first. The work always got to come first. Work, driver, then the truck. You know what I'm saying? Because you can go find a truck somewhere, but you need to make sure you got that work figured out. So yeah, Mr. Sanchez, I gradually added trucks to my fleet, you know, as the work came available. But like I said, I went from 1 truck, 2 trucks, then back down to 1 truck, and then when Amazon hit me up and asked me for 10 trucks, I went from the 1 truck that I had left, and then I expanded from 1 truck to 10 trucks. And I've been dedicated with them ever since. And now I'm running, like I said, I'm running probably like 15 box trucks tonight. And I'm running about 4 semis. Let me see. All right, so I think I got to him. And let me see if there's any questions on her. All right, somebody on IG is saying, I've been calling a couple people off DAT load board, but they want some experience. Yeah, so that's gonna be the woes of dealing with a new authority. I mean, a lot of brokers, the good paying freight, a lot of them ain't really gonna be on there. But it's not. I'm not trying to discourage you, but I mean, it just is what it is. A lot of them not gonna do it. You're gonna have to do the same thing that everybody else did in the game. Take lower paying freight until your numbers get in. Like I told you, double up and team up with people. Double up and team up with people to get like different loads, and think about this from a thing. If you run your truck at night, hire you a driver to run your truck during the daytime. Don't try to make all of the money and burn yourself out. If you're a business owner, you need to be focused on trying to grow the business, and you can't. It's going to be very hard to grow the business from being inside the truck every single day. It's going to be very hard. Are you having classes on financial literacy? Yes. Go to my website and check it out. Vegan Boss is asking me this on IG. Yes, definitely. I can't pronounce your name, brother, but it's he's asking, how do you get loads starting out? You get loads starting out. Of course, you just I start like select this DAT truck stop. A lot of brokers in the group. In the Facebook groups, you can get going with that as well. Atif, man, I don't want to slaughter your name. What's the best way to get your domain name? If you're speaking from your website, you can go to HostGator. You can even try Gmail. Actually sell domains too, or either you can go who I go with In Motion Hosting, who I got my websites through. Okay, let's see if there's any always say they gonna pay out cargo as well. Now, so Floyd asking about cargo. If you renting a truck, from Penske or Ryder, they only gonna do liability and physical damage. So that means you're gonna have to put that truck on the cargo of your other policy. So the loophole around that is this. This a loophole, and don't go snitching and telling them. But look, this the loophole. Get your commercial auto through one company. If you haven't already done this, get your commercial auto through one company, and get your get your commercial auto and physical damage through one company, and then get your cargo through a separate company. So when you end up renting a box truck or a semi or whatever you end up renting, you then could use Ryder and Penske Insurance, and then you could just use that separate cargo company because they're not going to be intertwined with your other insurance. You can then end up putting that truck on your cargo policy over there, and that's how you would be able to get everything popping off, Floyd. Okay, so Don Julio Trucking, he said, how does the Amazon payment work if you just starting? Do you get paid the next week? Yeah, so with Amazon, that's one of the perks. It's just like it's a paid weekly thing. I do everything I do this week up until the weekend on Saturday. And then it end on Saturday and start on Sunday. So everything I do up to Saturday, I'm paid the following Friday. So yeah, they pay very quick too though. So that works out well because I pay my drivers every week. So Amazon helps me keep my cash flow going properly as well. How do you file if the taxes? If the taxes is easily you could easily do it with your ELD. If you go inside your ELD is tracking all your fuel and where your drivers are fueling up at, because that's pretty much you paying a different tax depending on which state you're driving through. So all you got to do is go into your ELD software, and your ELD software is going to have everything laid out. You print that out, and then you file your if the taxes with that. Renee Campbell said, how many trucks did you have with Amazon to generate that type of revenue? I was running, right now I'm running 15 a day. Sometimes during peak, I was running up to 30 routes a day. So anywhere throughout the year, I had 25 routes at one time. It just depends on my performance, essentially. So I didn't have up to 30 routes at one time, 30 routes and 25. And keep in mind, I would have like 25 box truck routes and still running 6 or 7 semis too at the same time. So it's not all just box truck work. It's majority box truck. I would probably say out of 3.5 million, it could have been 2.5 off the box trucks and $1 million off the 18-wheelers. But I don't, like I said, I don't even keep up with the numbers. I got accounting for that. Is there enough business in box trucks in Florida? That I don't know. I'm working out of Georgia. I'm trying to get into the Florida market right now. There's an opening in Jacksonville. I just got a tip from 5 to 7 routes opening up in box truck, and I might have those. And I'm actually gonna need some help trying to cover those because I don't got no drivers out there. But if they give me 5 to 7 routes, I'm definitely gonna put some trucks on the road out there in Jacksonville, for sure. Let me see if I got a lot of questions coming in. Hey there, just got here. What did I miss? You missed a lot. I don't know. Let me see. All right, so let me get some more questions in down here. What are good trucks to buy? Rennie asking. All my trucks are my fleet Freightliners. I started off with Internationals. They had too many def issues. I stay away from those. I stick to Freightliners with Cummins engines in them because everybody can work on them. I have had people turn me down from working on my International. Now, International with a Cummins engine, maybe, but I just stay away from Internationals altogether. Mark Anthony saying, how do you get dedicated loads with box trucks? Do you have to have a certain count of trucks? Now, from my experience and anybody I've ever talked to, you got to at least have 5. When I got in with Amazon again, I had to take 10 routes. And I can explain to y'all further if y'all want to know about how it works, because it's a certain way you got to think in order to run a fleet, because with all of the ones I'm doing with Amazon, they is gonna give you a losing route or 2, but if you balance it all across, it all makes sense. So it ain't all peaches and cream, but I mean I got a nice crib, nice cars, nice everything just off Amazon alone. So I mean I don't have no complaints. Like I said, I don't know what nobody else's story is, but I just know that I'm eating very, very, very well off of it. Not saying that Amazon is the way to go right now, but I'm already in, so Again, how many trucks to get a dedicated route? Hey, Lisa. Where can we find the formula? You can go on my website. I got a class coming up on February 28th. I'm going to be breaking it all down. It's going to be an 8-hour course. You can stay for the whole 8 hours where we could do a Q&A. You can ask questions during the actual class, or either you can get the playback, or if you buy the class, like I said, I still answer your questions, any questions you got afterwards. But, I just got to get the time to get into it. P&L, profit and loss. Okay, you blessing for sure. He said you blessing me for sure. What's your Instagram? On my Instagram is everything is Coby Pegway. You can find me if you put in Coby Coby Pegway. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Clubhouse, all of that stuff. But everything is Okay, Teal Crawford. I said what the I3 formula was. Let me know if you want me to repeat it again. It just simply states that you should get the work first, then the driver, then the truck. Don't go get a truck. You gonna be like a lot of people I see just got their truck sitting because they ain't had the work signed up first. The class link is not in my bio. It's in if you go to my website. Just send me a DM that you're interested. If you can't find it on there, and I'll send you the link directly. All right, she said, I want that info. I'm not sure what info they're referring to. Does anybody else got any particular questions? I'm scrolling through. I don't really see. I just see a whole lot of conversation. I'm just trying to find some questions. Somebody said, how do you bring two companies together to save on insurance? Y'all just bring, I don't know if it's going to save y'all on insurance unless one company is older. The only way your insurance really go down is if you, depending on if you go into a different state, if you want the cheapest insurance, holler at some of your people in Mississippi. They got super cheap insurance. That's the cheapest place in a country for insurance. So if you really want some cheap insurance, holler at your folks in Mississippi and register your trucks and your company out there. Other than that, if both of the companies the same age, it's not really going to be a help on insurance from my knowledge. Mine's only went down as I started to get more years in the business. Let's see. As a business owner, what is the best way? Hold on. As a business owner, was it best to put your driver's W-2 or 1099? And I asked to know which is most cost effective. Me, I run everything as a independent contractor unless it's like an office person. And because mostly everybody that runs for me was an owner operator and already got like a trucking LLC, and they pretty much are getting basically in training to become carriers for the brokerage. But yeah, most cost effective and easier for paperwork, 1099, Mr. Sanchez. How do you? Ooh, that's a real good question. Lottie Ellison asks, how do you pay your box truck drivers? Percentage or flat rate? I pay flat rate. I pay by the route. If the route goes in between this many miles and this many miles, I pay this. And also, it kind of depends on how long it takes. If they end up having to sit somewhere for 3 hours, I add a little bit more on it. But it's usually strictly I just pay flat rate. That's how I've been doing it for the last 4 years. I haven't had nobody really quit. All the drivers that leave from me, they get fired. I haven't really had too many people quit. Do you think I can make good money with the 20%? Without a lift gate? You can make, Sheldon Fish, yeah, you can make some money without a lift gate. It's just, I ain't never had a truck that didn't have a lift gate, because I've never had a truck that wasn't 26 foot. Well, actually, I did have a 24 foot. but it had a lift gate on it. So I've never owned a truck that didn't have a lift gate. So I wouldn't be the best person to give you that advice on that because I haven't experienced it myself. Whenever I rented trucks that didn't have lift gates on it, it was a little bit harder. Just if you end up getting caught up at a post office or something like that, that the dock ain't working, it just limits you. I just know not having a lift gate is gonna limit the amount of freight that you can have. The freight that you can carry. So I would say, especially coming in, you don't want to limit yourself in no way. I wouldn't get no 24-foot box truck, period. Like, I don't care if it's $1,000 cheaper. Don't get it. 26 with a lift gate is standard, and make sure it's at least 97 high is good, but if you can help it, get a 103, 102 high, 103 wide, so you can make sure that you got plenty of room, because you don't want to be leaving no freight behind. I done had plenty of small rider trucks where they end up making me come back to come and get some more freight because I had to leave a pallet because it wouldn't fit on my truck. Marvin Lee said, if you have your own truck, how much should you pay to someone else's insurance and their authority? To me, I couldn't give you the advice on that because I would never suggest nobody to run. I would never let nobody run under my authority, and I definitely I don't see the purpose of running under somebody else's authority unless you at a state where you at a point of time where your authority is too new. But in that moment, I would be having my authority getting some age while I'm running under theirs. I did perfectly fine trying to find work when my authority was new. It wasn't the best work, but it kept me afloat enough, to get by and make it to another year. But I don't know. The authority is only $300, and if you only running one box truck or something, depending on what state you in, your insurance might be $900 a month. So that breaks down to what? Let's take it up to $1,000, and let's say it's $250 a week. You get what I'm saying? $250 a week on insurance. So that's like, you break that up into 5 days, that's $50 a day. So you add that into whatever routes that you run in anyway. I feel like running under somebody else's authority is, to me, a waste of time. I mean, I wouldn't suggest doing it, but I don't knock nobody hustle. Do what you feel is best for your business. I've never done it, and I don't suggest doing it. Because, I mean, like I said, the down payment on unless you just can't afford the down payment on your insurance, then I get it. How do you keep your night drivers motivated? I keep my night drivers motivated. This is coming from Barrera Fernando. Night drivers, I've been managing night drivers for the last 4 years. Money motivates them. Money. Pay them good. I talk to them often. Talk to my manager. Hey, is the drivers good, or they complaining about money, or they some people ain't gonna never be happy. But like my box truck drivers are getting in between $700 to $1,000 a week. Typically, they're gonna be good with that. Some weeks, if the routes change and they have to take a little bit less, they know that they're gonna get paid on time with me. If the people don't have to question whether they're gonna get paid on time, a lot of times you're not gonna really have no problems maintaining drivers if you pay them a fair wage. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to scroll up this thing. How did you find your tax accountant? Dwayne Lewis said, how did you find your tax accountant, and did they know the trucking industry? I found my accountant. He out of Alabama. My partner that was in trucking with me, he referred me to him, and he helped him. I was trying to buy a house at the time. He helped him figure out what he needed to do to get a house, and he helped me do the same thing. I don't know. He's an accountant for the Board of Education, so I figured I couldn't go wrong, with him. So shouts out to Johnny Fowler. My boy Tommy said he in Jacksonville. Hey, hit me in the inbox, man. I just talked to Veronica. She the person out there in that area, and she the one that sent me the plaque for Amazon out here. So I know she gonna look out for me if I go out to Florida. But they got to give me at least 7 routes. I ain't going out there for nothing less than that. It's gonna be a waste of time. How to get routes? Like I said, I started off the load board. I just watched my email. They asked me about it, and I got it. That's the only way I know. I also call shippers. Another good way to find work for y'all. I didn't even put this out here yet. Another good way for y'all to find work is gonna be Google brokers near me, Google 3PL companies near me, Google freight forwarders near me, Google all of those things, and I used to do a lot of cold calling, and that's how I found a lot of work. I made 50,000 with one company that I cold called. They used to they had me delivering like dialysis machines. They had me delivering dialysis machines to hospitals. They didn't have consistent work. Well, it was consistent where like they had me running every week, but they didn't have consistent work where like they had me running like every day. You know, some days it was every day, but yeah, I would say, like I said, go to Google and call every broker. Like you got to call shippers, brokers, you got to call everybody and everything. You know, you can sit back in the group, you know what I'm saying? But get on that thing and call them brokers in your area and keep calling people. Call if you see a warehouse that got trucks parked outside. If you got the time, pull over, go in there inside and ask them. I mean, I got scrappy with it. I really got in I really got in the trenches with this to get it going. I mean, I slept in the truck and everything. So I'm not saying this from an aspect of me coming from money or anything. Now, I did have good credit, and I did have a good job at the post office before I started. I did have a little money saved up, but I didn't come from like no great, you know what I'm saying? Like no family with a whole lot of money or anything like that. Jasmine Moody, you put, yes, how does it work? I'm not understanding. Maybe send me an inbox or ask another question. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to when you say, how does it work? I'm trying to... that's a good question. That's a good question, Peach. Was that Peace? Yeah, Peace Movement. That's a very good question. She said, what's the time commitment to this venture? Now, the time commitment now, I feel like don't get in the trucking industry if you're not willing to really put in 16-hour days. Like if you ain't got 16-hour days to put in the beginning, then I would say don't even get in because, like I said, I'm only could tell you from what I had to do to come up. I was working day and night. You know, I was running night routes, day routes. I was getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep because I had a truck note, which I would suggest if you don't have to, don't get one. I had a truck note that was like $1,200. I had got a $30,000 truck. I got a really horrible deal on that truck too as well. I paid probably $60,000 end up for that truck, but that's a whole nother story. The thing of not knowing, I wish I would have knew more about commercial truck financing before I got screwed up on that thing. And that truck put me in a hole. And that truck motor ended. I paid $60,000 for a $30,000 truck, and the motor went out. About like 3 years later. James Hughes said, I want to sit down with you in regards to getting in the game. Hit me in my inbox, James, about that. Shalom, brother. I seen a few days ago, one of my posts ago, and now I run into you after this research I've been doing the past couple of days. How can I get in touch with you for personal mentorship if you offer it? Again, my website, my brother, is CobyPegway.com. Or you can hit me in the inbox and I can send you the link. And I do offer a mentorship now as it's filling up, quickly. As once I post that plaque, I start getting a whole lot of people coming in. But I do want to be here to answer questions because it is possible. Like I said, I come from one truck. So I definitely want to keep giving back to my people. How do you set up your LLC to keep your taxes low? You got to look at your taxes based on, I would say, talk to an accountant specifically about that. I write off everything possible. If I'm taking a trip to Miami, I don't know if y'all seen me when I was in Miami, but this past weekend, but yeah, all of that is business expense, dude. I was out there on a meeting. You know what I'm saying? So, once you start learning about taxes, you understand that the wealthy pay taxes on what's left over. Not, what I'm saying, versus when you work in a job, they take your taxes out. So, low tax liability, I write everything off. I only leave enough to show profit for some real estate that I'm trying to buy. If I ain't trying to buy no real estate, I'm writing it all off as much as I can. Do hazmat loads pay more? Darrell, yes, sir, they do. They definitely do, but they require a whole lot more regulations and a whole lot more stuff, but I never ran them, so I can't give you sound advice. My expertise is I only ran mostly dry freight over the road. I had trucks over the road, and I ran a hell of a lot of Amazon freight. Good insurance companies to consider: Trinity, it just depends on where you at, because not all insurance companies service every area. So I would say Trinity is a good insurance company they do my cargo and my general liability. But they do some other good stuff too. It just depends on Coast to Coast gave me good stuff out of Georgia. I don't know what other states they write in though. So everything I'm giving you is from an Atlanta, Georgia perspective, because that's where I started my company. And that's where my company currently is. Even though I went out to Phoenix, Arizona, and for 18 months, and so I know that a little bit. Main Blue, my website is CobyPegway.com. Where do we sign up for the course? Jasmine Moody on CobyPegway.com. If you can't get it that way. So I see a lot of people asking about the website. I don't even know how to drop that in. I don't really be doing these live, so I mean it's a new territory for me. So I'm trying to navigate through both of them. So on IG, start a LLC, file as an S corp. Yep, that's definitely a good way to go. File as an S corp to lower that tax burden. Do you have? My mid-mile expert said, do you have Amazon routes available now? No, I don't have any Amazon routes available at the moment. GM Enterprises, yeah, you right with those requirements. But the requirements changed since so I'm not an expert on what Amazon is requiring right now, because I've been with them since 2019. So what it was then, they actually requiring a little bit more right now, from my understanding. But I'm not the best person to give you advice on that. If I don't know it, I ain't gonna act like I do. How do you, me and a friend, bring our separate authority together under one entity while saving on insurance? Well, yeah, I just explained that. It ain't really gonna be no saving more trucks. They're gonna charge you based on the truck. Day cabs are cheaper. Day cabs and box trucks are about the same. Sleepers cost a little bit more. I'm paying like $1,800 a month for my sleepers, but I'm only paying like $1,000 for my box trucks. All right, Ariel, I see you. All right, so hold on, let me try to pin my website on here. Like I said, I don't really know how to operate this, because it took me some years to get my company off the ground, so I kind of went in hide and kind of hibernation. I had to grind, so I lost touch with all this social media stuff. I just put it in her, I think. I just tried to put it in the comments in there, but yeah, I can't even see how to do that on her. I'll be better the next time with this. How do you get to work first? Good question, Timothy. Okay, so Tim say, how do you get to work first? So just like I told you, you go on Craigslist, you go on Indeed, you go looking for the work, and you start calling people, asking what the requirements are. You know, ask them for a pay rate sheet. You know what I'm saying? To see what it is. Make sure you know what your numbers is. A quick formula for y'all to use. Mine's would be like, I do my formula from the driver. I do driver. I don't know if some of y'all want to follow me. I do driver, fuel, then driver, fuel. You got the truck costs. You know what I'm saying? You got driver, fuel, truck. Of course, you got to take maintenance. Some people count that maintenance money as money that they profit, and that's why they can't stay in the game long, because they not accounting for that maintenance, that money you need to put into your maintenance account. You got driver, fuel, truck, maintenance, and then I always put $10 for miscellaneous, just for something I'm probably missing. You know, all you got to do on 1,000 miles, right, to do a breakdown, to know why you looking for that work, Timothy. Make sure you put the driver, fuel, truck, maintenance, miscellaneous, how much all of this stuff is gonna cost. So if they telling you that they gonna give you that they want you to go 1,000 miles for $1,500, you're gonna have to look and break that down. You know what I'm saying? Okay, 1,000 miles gonna cost me you know, XYZ, 1,000 miles. If the fuel in the MPG is 7 miles per gallon, then, you know, it's probably gonna be, let's say, around $400. You get what I'm saying? By the time you get done, you're gonna realize that it's gonna cost you $1,000. And I know this from this 1,000-mile scenario. In a semi truck, it's gonna cost $1.33. In a box truck, it's probably gonna cost $1.11. So if they only giving you $1.50 a mile, you're gonna have to get a little bit more than that, because you first have to know your cost, your operational cost, and what it costs. So before you go get a truck, that's what I'm saying, go do your research and look at the work that's out there and get you locked in on something that make a little sense for you, or piece some loads together. Now, it's a little easier if you're going to drive the truck first yourself, because you could take a little bit lower paying because you paying yourself as the driver. But I don't like that as a practice. If the load is not enough, does not pay enough money for you to pay an additional driver or somebody else to do it, the load don't pay enough. That's my policy. If it don't pay enough for me to put somebody else in the truck, even if I'm driving it myself, because understand that you driving, that's a whole separate job from you being a business owner. So don't be like, oh, it's $150 left for the driver, that's my money. Nah, that's not a good way to look at it. You're gonna end up finding yourself in that same hole I was in. Trust me, I end up being $80,000 in debt. So I can tell you all about it, you know, making those mistakes, because I didn't know what a P&L was at the time. Vok Miller said, "Can I break down the insurance loophole again?" Then again, y'all, the insurance loophole it's a multiple truck thing though. You can't really do it with one truck. You had a one truck running under your authority. You know, you had a one truck running under your authority. Everything on that one truck. You got to make sure that you get a separate commercial auto. Your commercial auto policy and your physical damage is separate from your cargo and your GL. Well, you can have your GL on either side, but just make sure your cargo is separate. So when you rent the truck, you could take Ryder or Penske. You could take Ryder or Penske coverage, and then you could put that rental truck on your policy, on your cargo policy. And I know Trinity Insurance out of Clarkston. Is that Kentucky? Out of Kentucky, yeah. If you find them, I know for a fact that they do it, because like I said, I currently use them now. What's the word with Jacksonville Amazon? Like I said, Veronica just told me about some loads. I keep y'all abreast if I get those. How you register your company in Mississippi? If you want to register your company in Mississippi, like I was saying, you're going to have to know somebody out there. Because in order to register your trucks, you're going to have an ID. Trust me, I already tried. I actually got a link out there that's supposed to be hitting me up and helping me do that. You can easily find a work first without a truck by, like I said, looking at on Craigslist, looking on Indeed, calling people and calling local brokers, local freight forwarders, local third-party logistics companies, like Forward Air and XPO. Call those companies and see what like JB Hunt. You know, you can call those people. What's the first thing a dispatcher needs to do to get work? Hold on. What's the first thing a dispatcher needs to do to get work? I don't really understand what that question means, D'Angelo. Are you asking me what it takes to do it? Be a dispatcher? Because I'm not sure. Are you a DSP for box trucks? Yes. Yes, I am. He said, "How were you able to buy 10 trucks from 2?" I didn't buy 10 trucks from 2. I had one truck and I went and rented 9 trucks. And once I made the money, I started to, purchase more units. All right, how long have I been on this? Because I think I got, what time is it? All right, yeah, I need a time check because I only supposed to be on here for like 45 minutes because I got to finish up some work. Took the time for me. What measurement for the box again? Rennie, the boxes need to be 26. They need to be 103 by 102. You know what I'm saying? 103 wide, 102 high. 10 o'clock. It is, okay. All right, y'all. Well, it's 10. I got to get back to work. Inbox me again. CobyPegway.com is my website. Follow me on all platforms. Hit me up in my DM. I'm gonna try to get back to it. It's flooded right now, but I try to get back to it as much as I can. I'll be doing these lives every Tuesday. I'm calling it Truck Talk Tuesday. If y'all wanna chime in on a podcast or whatever, we can get it going. But any other questions y'all got, send them to my my inbox or whatever on Instagram, on Facebook, and I'll be able to get with y'all. But yeah, again, y'all, it was I'm glad so many people turned out to come and get this knowledge. I appreciate it. Like I said, just keep on tapping in with me when I go live. Peace. Shalom, family.